Hey folks, we are it's Sunday night. I've got the day off tomorrow. Let's build some D&D. Give me as usual, give me a hot second here to get my trucks all calibrated here. And so what we're going to do is we are going to continue our efforts on building the Way of Shadow Monk for 5e D&D. We're going to use the 5-color mana spell point variant rules that are available on the DMsGuild. I'm just taking a few moments here to punch a bunch of signals and shout outs to folks like Dice Trice Community, which does an awesome job talking about how how the color mechanics work and how you can define flavor. Dungeoneers Pack is freaking awesome. He helps build brews and he runs a Ravnica game on a weekly basis. Let's see, we're tapping into classes and constructs because Trevor does an amazing job with translating cards into interesting D&D ideas. Got Cleric's Corner, which always brings the flavor. Let's see, what buttons am I pressing here? Click. Almost done, and then we'll get right into it. Indestructible Boy for being awesome with building tech and having one of the best communities I've ever bumped into on Discord. Fry Minis for making excellent minis and having the hot scoops on everything new in D&D books that come out. Rich Mary for having awesome flavor ideas on building characters, and of course the Discord communities for the Guild Pack Adventurers, as well as Ravnica DMs. All great channels, all on Discords. You should check them all out. And I think, without further ado, we're ready to launch into the madness. So what we've been doing, thanks for your patience, folks. If you check out the link below, you're going to see this link here to the color mana spell point variant rules that I built for D&D. All these books are 100% preview. You can read them all, and if you pick them up, you're going to get access to all the download documents, like the spreadsheet that has all the classes broken down, Strixhaven, Ravnica, all the spells by colors and levels. You got the pay what you want thing that I put out here that you can grab just to get a taste for color in the player's handbook. But of course, if you buy stuff, then you're going to get a deeper dive into all the spells that are in the book. You can see that the colors are broken down, different aspects of magic in the Dungeons and Dragons game system that jive with the MTG mechanics of the 5-color pie theory, the different damage types that are associated with that exist inside of Dungeons and Dragons and what colors they're devoted to. But we have been building the Way of Shadow for the Monk, and I've been scratching my brain here about the Way of the Monk. And let's take Monk here and just look at it real fast, since this is our second session here building. We're going to take a look here and see that monks. Let's look at. We're going to build a book here. It's going to be called Monks: The Way of Light and Shadow, and so it's going to have Way of the Shadow, and it's going to have Way of the. If I can find it, thank you. Way of the Sun Soul. So let's take a look at the Way of the Sun Soul here real quick, just so we can see what the problem is that's jumping out at me. I need to take an action surge, 6 levels, you have the ability. Okay, so check this out. Assyrian Arc Strike at 6th level. Now, at 6th level, with the elemental Way of the 4 Elements in the player's handbook, at 6th level, you can spend up to 3 ki to cast a 2nd level spell discipline, or discipline that translates into you casting a spell. That's how they wrote it. So what does this class do? Sun Soul here at 6th level gives you ability to spend 2 points to cast Burning Hands. And it's just a basic level Burning Hands, but of course you can upcast it like Elemental Key can upcast. 1 point per level. Okay? Sounds innocent enough. We're going to come back and look at this. However, why I'm pointing this out and why my brain has been melting today is because the Way of the Shadow, the first level, the first ability you get at 3rd level is spend 2 ki, and you can cast Darkness, Dark Vision, Pass Without Trace, or Silence, which are all 2nd level spells. 1, monks aren't supposed to be able to cast 2nd level spells at 3rd level. All the other classes have you getting 2nd level spell equivalents at 6th level or higher. Number 2, they're only charging you 2 mana instead of 3 for them, which is breaking their own rules of a resource economy. So I am absolutely, I want to love you guys. I really do. But there's some internal logic issues that are breaking in my head. And so it's my job that I've assigned to myself to fix the Way of the Shadows. So when we last left off, thank you for letting me rant there for a minute, because it's just, that's the thing I've been fighting with and why it's been hurting my brain so much. And that's when it clicks. Like, wait a second, they're only charging 2 points for a 2nd level spell at level 3, when all the other monk stuff is 3 points at level 6 for a 2nd level spell, or 2 points at level 1 for at 3rd level for a 1st level spell. So they're breaking their own rules. No wonder everyone has problems with monks. So what we're going to do is we've been rebuilding the list. We are building the Way of the 4 Elements. Had such a robust narrative with the 4 elements and the avatar that you have basically 5 different subclasses inside of one. Building that one as a prepared caster makes a lot of sense. There's 50 spells that logically fall into the elemental key magic paradigm that we built for that supplement. But we're focusing on Ravnica with this one, with color magic, and the Way of Shadow is a pretty tight package. So we are instead, we've been struggling. Let's click on this here. When this thing's built, I'll have this document uploaded for the Way of Shadows in the book. Let's see. Oh yeah, we can see down here, count 34. So I've been able to pluck out 34 spells that are generally themed blue or black. Basically either shadow-based, necromancy, that's not undead related. That's more like shadow, blindness, darkness, illusion, and some mobility stuff, which is basically what you should be expecting from the flavor of the Way of Shadow. There's about 34 of them, from cantrips to 5th level. So that's not a real robust list. It's enough to be a prepared caster. So right now I am debating whether I want it to be a prepared caster or if I want it to be a learned caster, which is more in tune with how the class works. And the thing is that level 6, let's go back to Way of the Monk. Let's find the book here again. Way of Shadow. Okay, so Shadow Step at level 6. It hard codes. It assumes that you are going to, let's see, when you have the ability to step from one shadow into another, when you're in dim light or darkness, as a bonus action, you can teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see that is also in dim light or darkness. You then have advantage on the first melee attack you make before the end of the turn. So if you have Shadow Arts hard-baked, that you have darkness, then you're always going to be able to cast darkness as an action and then teleport to it at your next action while you reside in that space. Then on the follow-up round, you can then make an attack, which is clumsy. What this thing needs you to do is cast darkness or have a target that's near darkness, so that when you teleport to it as a bonus action, you can then follow up with your action after the bonus action, which of course, using normal 5e mechanics, eliminates your ability to use all of your evasion stuff and eliminates your ability to use Flurry of Blows. So the Way of Shadow is it's fighting itself, and I guess you could theorize that it's supposed to be creating power balance of not being OP, because it's allowing you to teleport with no limit as long as there's shadows around. But the problem is that if someone lights a torch, or if it's in daylight, you're having to expend resources to be able to trigger that ability if you don't have that shadow available. It's as unreliable as a reaction qualifier. Reactions tend to be powerful because you don't control when those circumstances arise. You can try to set up circumstances that makes it compelling for your target to use those actions with which you're waiting to react to, but you can't guarantee it's going to happen. So the action economy isn't there for you to be able to reliably exploit on this as a tactic, but the class absolutely relies on you having shadow there. So the narrative is there that you must dwell in shadows. The mechanics are there to reward you when there are shadows. So there's virtually nothing there that synergizes with you making sure that there's shadows, because you can't move the darkness spell darkness can't move. So when you cast darkness, it's stuck there. So when we're looking at the features, the shadow arts is subsumed or is irrelevant now, because we're making a half casting class that has access to these spells as a half caster at second level, but that doesn't come online until level 5 as a half caster, which is technically okay because you don't get your shadow step until level 6 after you have the ability to get these spells. So that jives, but it still leaves you vulnerable in that you don't have any resources available for you between level 3 and 3 and 5 to be able to get the shadow, and then level 3 and then 6 to really lean into that shadow theme. You're kind of just a monk with some illusions, right? So what we need to do is, the problem is that they want to give you darkness because it's the only darkness spell that exists, and they want you to have that flavor, that stealth flavor right away. But the power economy is off, as I just described. It's a second level spell that are gaining access to third level, and they had to do that because they're building it with spells, and there's nothing else in the game that's going to let you get there. So what we need to do is think outside of the box. And the box that I'm getting out of is Monk, and where I'm going to is Twilight Cleric. Let's go there. Let's see what the Twilight Cleric will do for us. Twilight Domain. Check this out. So at second level, first off, Eyes of Night. You can see through the deepest gloom. We're going to come back to that because that's good, but it's not the best. Let's see. Channel Divinity, Twilight Sanctuary. This is where we want to be looking. At second level Twilight Domain feature, you can use your Channel Divinity to refresh your allies with Soothing Twilight. Who cares? As an action, here we are. As an action, you can present your holy symbol, and a sphere of twilight emanates from you. The sphere is centered on you, has a 30-foot radius, and is filled with dim light. The sphere moves with you, and it lasts for 1 minute or until you are incapacitated or die. Whenever a creature, including you, ends the turn in the sphere, you can grant one creature a benefit, blah, blah, blah. We don't care about benefits, right? And then at 6th level, they get basically flight and shadow. So they're like a cleric version. They're like a cleric version of the Way of Shadow, built 6 years after they realize how the game is supposed to actually work, and they're not going to update Way of Shadow. So someone else has got to do it. We got to volunteer to do that. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to flat out steal it. Let's steal it and then mod it. So I'm just going to open up a Word document so I can gank it. This is what I want here, and then I want to drop it into the into the notepad so I can kill the document, the formatting on it. And then let's take a look at third level. So if I'm playing a Shadow Monk, I absolutely want something like Twilight Sanctuary, but I don't want to call it Twilight Sanctuary. For now, I'm going to call it something like Dark Shadows. Let's call it Dark Shadows. So, as an action, you create a sphere of darkness that emanates from you. The sphere is centered on you, has a 30-foot radius, and dampens and dims any light to shadows. The sphere moves with you, and it lasts for 1 minute or until you are incapacitated or die. Whenever a creature, including you, ends its turn in the sphere, you can grant that creature one of the benefits. We don't need to grant creatures benefits. We come with our own. So that's our core. As an action, you create a sphere of darkness that emanates from you. The sphere is centered on you, has a 30-foot radius, and dim shadow. Let's see. As an action, you can spend one. Spend one key to create a sphere of darkness that emanates from you. Sphere of shadows. It's not darkness. That comes on like at level 2. This. As an action, you can spend one key to create a sphere of shadows that emanates from you. The sphere is centered on you, has a 30-foot radius, and dims any light to, let's see, there's language about Eyes of Night. So what is that language? To dim light. Hey, thanks a lot, bot. I appreciate that. As an action, you can spend one key to create a sphere of shadows that emanates from you. The sphere is centered on you, has a 30-foot radius, and dims and reduces any light to dim shadow. The sphere moves with you, and it lasts for 1 minute or until you are incapacitated or die. Now let's double check our language on how the Way of Shadow reads. Monk. What's the language on Shadow Step? You gain the ability to step from one shadow into another. When you are in dim light or darkness, as a bonus action, you can teleport to a space you can see that is also in dim light or darkness. As an action, you can spend one key to create a sphere of shadow that emanates from you. The sphere is centered on you and has a 30-foot radius. It's centered on you, has a 30-foot radius, and reduces any light reduces bright light to dim. What's the wording here that we get from the cleric? Chicka. You can see in dim light as if or bright light. And reduces bright light to dim light. The sphere moves to create a sphere of shadow that emanates from you in a 30-foot radius. The sphere is centered on you. Centered on you, moves with you, and lasts for 1 minute or until you're incapacitated or die. What was the language on here? See, the sphere moves with you. How do we word this? As an action, you can spend one key to create a sphere of shadows that emanates from you in a 30-foot radius. The sphere is centered on you, moves with you, and it lasts for 1 minute or until you are incapacitated or die. There it is. The Sphere of Shadows. The Sphere of Shadows. Maybe we call it Dark Stalker. How about that for a term? Dark Stalker. The sphere is centered on you. The sphere reduces bright light within the sphere is reduced to dim light, and dim light is reduced to darkness. And lasts for as long as you maintain concentration. So it's a cantrip. It's a cantrip that reduces light, that absolutely triggers everything you want it to do. That's the plan. It's not a cantrip. We have a 1 key cost. So this is a 1 key cost that has no duration. For as long as you're willing to maintain that concentration, this is going to last with you. That is right on curve with what Tap Untap Burn does. See, the way that Tap Untap Burn works is that it has combined concentration. So as you gain levels, you can stack effects that require concentration. At 2nd level, 5th level, you'll be able to have 2 key as your max amount. Your max key limit is 2. So you'll be able to concentrate on up to 2 effects that require 2 key, which means you'll be able to not only maintain concentration on maybe we should call it Sphere of Shadows. To create a Sphere of Shadows. It'll allow you to maintain Sphere of Shadows, as well as, I don't know, what else might we need to concentrate at 1st level? Disguise Self, Silent Image, Zephyr Strike. These are all things that we'd be able to do. When we get to 9th level, we'd be able to do things like hit people with blindness and deafness. We could blur ourselves as well as we could actually drop darkness on someone far away. So what you get at 3rd level, you get 4 2nd level spells. What we give you at 3rd level is 3 1st level spells. We give you the Sphere of Shadows, which is also a 1st level spell. So then we're going to up it a little bit. In addition, here's your kicker. Anyone that knows game design, anyone that's really familiar with 5e, probably knows what I'm talking about when I start typing in. Hold on, let's grab here. Blurp, blurp. Here, go to here. Warlock. So as soon as I type Warlock, you probably know what we're going to go do. But if you don't, hang on tight. Because we're going to make the Wave of Shadow freaking awesome. Beep, beep, beep. We're going to go to Class, Features. Then we're going to go down to Devil's Sight. You can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical, to a distance of 120 feet. So let's just grab that. That is an invocation with 0 prerequisites that you can acquire as early as 1st level. So you're basically getting a 1st level feat and the option of casting 4 1st level feats, assuming that you have a high enough wisdom to do so. You have minimum of 1 plus up to your wisdom, so you can potentially have a lot more, but you can only you can potentially learn a slew of them, which is why I'm thinking about making this known instead of learn. A, it has a much smaller supply, and B, you don't need as much. The stuff that you're getting off of this spell list is pretty robust. So making it a known caster as opposed to a prepared caster feels pretty good to me. So maybe it's Dark Stalker, Dweller in the Dark. Let's go to MTG. Let's go to where Trevor in Classes and Constructs recommends that we go to, which is going to be Scryfall. Let's check out what it has to say about Dimir. Let's look at Dimir. Dimir, Aqueduct, Guildmage, Dot Blockganger, Dimir, Houseguard. Actually, let's see how this machine works. Type, enter a type or chosen type. We're going to go to enchantment. Maybe they have enchantment aura. Is that separate? Enchantment type aura. Let's go to aura, and then let's go with black and blue at most of these colors. Let's go with exactly these colors for now. Let's see what we get fetched. Helm of the Garst, Sleeper's Hole, Soul Ransom, Tezeric's Touch, Torpor Dust. All right, let's go to black only. Wait. That's supposed to be aura. Yeah. Let's try that out. Enchantments. Am I on screen? Maybe I am. Here, sorry, I'm leaning in because I don't see so good. Maybe if I zoom a bit, maybe life will be better for me. I can just zoom. Sexual Vengeance, Artifact, Animate Dead, Artificer's Hat, Aspect of the Gorgon. I'm hunting for something cool. Bane Swap, Affliction, Blessing of the Leeches, Binding Agony, Blight, Boon, Brink, Cartouche, Casting Cast into Darkness, Caustic Tar, Chime of the Night, ooh. Clinging Darkness of the Night, Child of the Night, Born of the Night, Night Stalker, Crippling Blight, maybe Night Stalker. Let's see if there's anything that exists inside of. What does this do for us? What's a Dark Stalks? Qua? Oh, that's another thing. Dark Stalker. There we go. Dark Stalker. In addition, you can see in normal darkness, you can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical to a distance of 120 feet. Bam, there you go. So, that is Dark Stalker. That's our third level feature. Shadow Step. Let's look at Shadow Step. Let's go back to Shadow Step. With a shadow. 6th level, you gain the ability to step from one shadow into another. When you are in dim light or darkness, as a bonus action, you can teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see that is also in dim light or darkness. You then have advantage on the first melee attack you make before the end of this turn. So, as an action, you can spend this. Dark Stalker the Shadow Step doesn't need to change at all now. I am thrilled to hear that. We do not need to change Shadow Step at all. So, let's go in here. Chef's kiss. Oof, God, that's so freaking pimp. Known. Up to 11 spells. Is that how we want to roll this? Maybe. Let's build out the rest of our kit and see how sick it is. And if it's too sick, then we'll whittle it back. Yeah, it could either go known or prepared. Cloak of Shadow. Let's see this. By 11th level, you've learned to become one with the shadows. When you are in a dim area, dim light or darkness, you can use your action to become invisible. You remain invisible until you make an attack, cast a spell, or in an area of bright light. Hold on. Let's take a look at... We have a caveat that we need to consider. Let's look at the darkness spell. Things to consider here. If any of the spell's area overlaps with an area of light created by a spell of second level or lower, the spell that created the light is dispelled. The spell that created the light is dispelled. Ooh, here's a thought. When a light spell area overlaps with the sphere of shadow, the sphere, I can write this better. The sphere of shadow is considered the sphere of shadow effective casting spell level is equal to your proficiency bonus. When it's equal to your proficiency bonus for when determining if a light spell's area will dispel the darkness. There. So, there's your capstone ability. Last session we were talking about what's kind of a capstone ability. The elemental key had all of these all the investiture spells, investiture, ice, flame, stone, and wind, that they had access to as like avatar forms at 17th level that are effectively they are 6th level spells, but you only get them once per day. So we don't have there are no 6th level shadow spells that are the equivalent for Way of the Shadow, but this resolves that. This is now at 17th level, your proficiency bonus is +6. So this spell is now a 6th level spell when considered for interacting with light spells, whether or not the light spell will be able to dispel the darkness or not. So you're going to have to cast a spell of at least 6th level to be able to blot out these shadows. And then you can just pop it again. So pretty pleased with that. Pretty pleased. That feels really good. Which also means that I don't have any reason to change the 11th level ability. It's pretty nicely as is. You become invisible. You remain invisible. This means I can get rid of all the invisibility spells. By 11th level, you have learned to become one with shadows. It also means I can get rid of the dark vision spells, so I get to whittle this thing down a little bit, which makes known become more and more relevant. So, by 11th level, you've learned to become one with the shadows. When you are in an area of dim light or darkness, you can use your action to become invisible. You remain invisible until you make an attack, cast a spell, or in an area of bright light. Yep, I am super solid with that. I'm going to have a conversation here real quick with y'all. Bleh. Okay, first off, 6th level spell, you gain the ability to step from one shadow into another. When you are in dim light or darkness, as a bonus action, you can teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space you can see that is also in dim light or darkness. That's your own bubble. So you are able to effectively punt yourself 30 feet with your bubble, which is half the range that you would normally be able to step. So that's as a bonus action. Bonus action, you would normally be able to dash as a monk. It would cost you 1, but you're already maintaining the 1 here, so you have a payment already. That feels pretty good. But you could teleport to your own sphere inside your own sphere's location. So once somebody gets anywhere near you, they are in a zone with you that becomes super risky. Ooh, I love that. I love that. You learn to become one with shadows. When you are in an area of dim light or darkness, you can use your action to become invisible. You remain invisible until you make an attack, cast a spell, or in an area of bright light. Oh, that's so sick. Okay, great. So, Opportunist, I hate it. Absolutely hate it. The ability, it's a cool ability. I don't think it's worth 17th level. Basically, here's how it reads. You'll hear with me. 17th level, you can exploit a creature's momentary distraction when it is hit by an attack. Whenever a creature within 5 feet of you is hit by an attack made by a creature other than you, you can use your reaction to make a melee attack against that creature. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. It's a reaction. You can make an opportunity attack, but that opportunity attack is going to be at best like a D12. D10, according to the current rules. We suspect in 2024 they're going to up the monk to a D6 through a D12, and I'll recalibrate all this stuff in Celebration as soon as they do, because great move. But right now, the best you're going to do is a D10 damage. Your Capstone Ability is as a reaction, you can deal D10 damage. It has nothing to do with shadows, so let's get rid of it. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to do a big shout out back at 3rd edition, and we're going to go with the Tough Lamar Shadow Pounce. If you know 3rd edition, what Shadow Pounce allows you to do, Shadow Pounce. I'm going to make sure I have that spelled right. Tough Lamar Shadow Lord. I know I'm looking at D&D tools, but I don't have the book on hand right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and control it and take a look. Shadow Jump, Shadow Walk, Shadow Pounce. It's 2 words. Shadow Pounce. Thank you. I just needed that little reference there real quick. We are done with you. Shadow Pounce. You gain 17th level. Let's take that back. Let's see if they have a flavor ribbon. When you gain 17th level, you can strike from the shadows with deadly speed. See what the rest of the ability says. When you use what's it called? When you use the Shadow Step feature, you can spend 1 key to use Flurry of Blows. At advantage. I don't need that then because the Shadow Step grants... Shadow Step already grants you advantage on the first attack that you make. You're going to blow 1 key to make 2 attacks. That's sick. There you go. Bob's your uncle. So, let's go back and let's trim some spells. We no longer need... Oh, I don't have invisibility on here. Oh, I already trimmed it. Okay. I'm cool with that. Path or Fall. Scene invisibility is there. Area of bright light. We could leave greater invisibility there if that's something you want. Yeah, why not? You'll swap this. This comes online at 13th level. By 17th level, you're going to swap it out because you're going to have empty body which is the same thing, just to higher levels. So you're just going to end up scrapping that out and throwing it away. Let's see what else is in here we might want to get rid of. Modify Memory. That's a pretty cool ability. Pretty cool. Intellect Fortress. Okay, so this one is debatably gone. Modify Memory is debatably gone. Phantasmal Killer is potentially gone. Let's look at why am I making the monk a half caster? Why do I want to bother doing that? Because of Strixhaven. I want it to be available to Silver Quill for the Way of Shadow to be native to Silver Quill. Ultimately, what I want to do is have all the monks done so that monks are the default jocks of Strixhaven and the uncontestable champions of Mage Tower. So that's my goal. That's what I want to do. We're going to look at Staggering Strike. It might make sense to keep that given that context. Sorcerer. Oh, Staggering Smite. That was all I was looking for. Stride. Come on, guys. How are we doing on time? 12:30? It's almost time to stop. Next time you hit a creature with melee attack, psychic damage, wisdom save, disadvantage, and ability checks, can't react. That's pretty sick. We're going to keep that. Staggering Strike stays. Phantasmal Killer, maybe we get rid of that. Major Image is great. Hunger, Blinding Smite, these things make sense. Non-detection definitely makes Summon Shadow Spawn. That's such a sick spell to have. That fulfills the Shadow Dancer prestige class from 3rd edition. Oh, that's so sick. So sick. Featherfall is on flavor until you have Slow Fall from afar. You can just swap it out. That's sick and good. Sick and good, sick and good. Shadowblade is so sick. Shadowblade is good, but you can't use it with Sphere of Shadows until level 9. So that is self-mitigated, but in a good way. It's not contradictory self-mitigation. It is, it's elegant. Rope Trick is awesome for this because Disappearing Ninja Trick. Ninja Dust. Fast Without Trace. Oh my god, the latest season of Letterkenny is horrible. I don't know what the hell those guys were doing. Misty Step. You don't really need Misty Step, but it sure is useful to have if you can't, if for some reason your darkness is being dispelled. Darkness, Blur. One, two, three. We get rid of 3 spells. That brings us down to 30. Okay, I'm pretty good with that. I like Intellect Fortress, but I think you can do without. What? More bots? More bots? More bots? More bots? Thanks, bots. We all really appreciate you being here. Phantasmal Killer is sick, but that is going to be for a different type of Dimir. There's a lot of fear and manipulation built into Black and Blue, and the Shadow Monk just doesn't speak to it. It only speaks to subterfuge and mobility and stealth. And I think that's what we're leaning into here. I'm good with all these. This is good ninja stuff here. This is all good ninja stuff. What's the stipulations on that spell? Or on that ability? You remain invisible until you attack, cast a spell, or are in an area of bright light. Oh. So yeah, if we have this as a half caster, it becomes it can add Silver Quill spells to its list. And if it doesn't have a list of spells, then you can't do it. Elemental, the Way of the Four Elements is hard baked as a spellcaster up to 5th level spells at 17th level. It already has the half casting progression baked into it. So you could potentially pick up Prismari or Quandrix through Way of the Four Elements. Using blue, you could curve into Prismari as well. But honestly, it covers a lot of even red magic. You can get into Lorehold. So elemental, the Way of the Four Elements covers a lot of ground. 4 out of the 5 schools in Strixhaven, but Silver Quill gets left out. As white black, neither one of those colors are present in the Way of the Four Elements. They only do blue, red, and green mana. So you would not be able to connect with anything that is that's in Silver Quill. So this is going to fix that. So it has to be a half caster of some sort. I don't think it being a prepared caster is necessary. And when we get into Drunken Master and Kinsei, I already planned for them to be learned casters and not prepared casters. So this is a good middle ground to go with. And I think we're going to be... I think this is at a place where we can set this one down for now. So I'm pretty excited about that. Next thing we're going to get into then is... I'm going to go ahead and call it quits here. Man, that feels good. What's going to end up happening is we're going to finish up Sun Soul. We're then going to finish out the Demir Ranger and the Thopter Pilot Ranger. So we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 more subclasses to go before we finish our docket of work. And then at that point, we're going to use this time to start, I think, looking at potentially building this out, like doing layouts and stuff to actually like make it pretty, so that we can put it on, so we can put it up on the guild. So, that's exciting. All right, guys. I eventually, when I get done with these, I'm going to be having. I think I'm going to be once I get the monks built out. Once this is taken care of, and once I get Sun Soul taken care of, we're going to have everything that we need for us to be able to start looking at Strixhaven with monks and building athletes. So I'm going to put a hold. I think I might come back and visit the Kinsei and Drunken Master, but I also want to start looking at building out the Martial Mana. I want to start building out that book, Martial Powers, which is the next 5-color mana spell point variant rules that I want to publish in full, which is going to fold a lot of these ideas into it. So that's going to be really exciting. Stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff coming on, and looking forward to hearing all. See you on the other side. Like this, like, share. Link below has my Twitter. Link below has all the books for mana variants. So check these things out. Like you can see, Elemental Key is in here. It's normally $3, but it gets whittled down to $2. This whole set of books is 33% off. So grab them. I think Knights and Tricksters just went Electrum. It's still showing as silver, but I'm showing my sales report that I just clicked over to 251. So by the time you guys traipse through here, Knights and Tricksters should be at Electrum as well. And and again, like, all these books are 100% preview. So like, we fish up Tap Untap Burn, Knights and Tricksters. This book is going to get revamped because we have the expanded spell list now. We can swap out. Here's how the spells used to look, and that each spell was devoted to only one color, and there's a formatting. I don't like this formatting anymore, but it was my first effort. So now that we have a more evolved look at how 5-color mana works with spells, here's the revised 5-color magic spell list that has the different aspects of magic. as well as the how colors are devoted to each damage type. 5 color magic spell lists. You can see that this is evolved into what we see on the list that we're working with. This list and the list that we're already working on, they're already in the Knights and Tricksters book. Even though the Knights and Tricksters book is out of date, I need to go in and reformat it so it has these builds. So one of the things I need to do, and I will do on stream, is to update all these mechanics so that they are compliant with downloaded, so that they are compliant with the most recent rules of 5 color magic spell point variant rules. So hey, okay, I've rambled enough. Thanks for checking all this stuff out. We'd love to have you on board. Definitely take a look at Spell Point Warlocks. That is crushing it. And talk to you later.